Hi everyone, my name is Shanhav and I run my own music tutoring business, Ivory Tutoring. Today I'll be sharing a little bit about the piano student log that I use, which is a method to keep track of my students and how they are going all in one place. So this document here, I review it about once a month, maybe sometimes even more frequently, just to check that where my students are at, where my tutor students are at, and if there's any resources or extra things that we can give them. So how the student log works is it's just a document on Word. I've printed it out for you here on an A4 piece of paper, but it is A3 on a Word document on my laptop, which I will link in the resource section below, in the description below. And so I've got here a column, as you can see. I've got columns across the tops with my student's name, their tutor name. So we've got 4 tutors, so I make sure I know who's teaching which student, the lesson time and day, when the student started piano lessons, and then the student's year and age at school, followed by a few words about the personality, because knowing their personality really actually helps us find repertoire for them and find the right songs that suit their personality. The book that the student is on, what scales they are on. So with scales, we give kind of different resources to give to different students based on what we think would work best. So some we go straight into A and B scales, which is kind of the highest level. Some we give like a booklet with different scales and chord progressions and arpeggios. Some we show them how to do it just ourselves, see how they go. We kind of experiment different things with different students and see how it goes, because every student learns so differently. Exercises, so that's another row. So I love to give my students warm-up exercises to start the lessons with, which again I can talk about in a different video. I give them a set of 10 warm-up exercises first, usually when they're about to finish their first piano book, and then when they finish this set of 10 warm-up exercises, I'll give them another set of 10 warm-up exercises, which I can share again in a different video. Followed by technique work. So I've got a nice technique book as well, which I use. It's called Fit for Piano by Ray DeLiesel, and I can show you that over here. Great resource to use, which teaches the correct technique with instruction videos and little illustrations. So I sometimes use this with my students, if their fingers aren't curved or if they're not parachuting nicely off the keys. I sometimes do like to use resources from this book, so I keep track of that in this log. Followed by chord work or sight reading. So we do have some handouts for chord work once the student is a little bit more advanced, that we like to give out. So again, I keep track of it over here in the chord work column, what we give them. And extra songs. So sometimes usually we give out extra songs outside of what the student is learning in their book, in their method book. So what I found is that just using the method book in the lessons is just really not enough. Like the method books like Alfred's, Bastian's, Piano Adventures, they're all great, really great books, I think, but I think they're just not enough to fully encapsulate the holistic element of music, which is why I think it's important to give extra resources, like extra songs, based on the student's level and scales and sight reading and chords and whatever it is that the student needs. So yeah, so with extra songs, we keep track. We sometimes give them like extra exam songs if they are ready for it during the book, or we give them extra songs that they request, pop songs or classical, whatever it is. So we like to keep track of what extra repertoire they're doing in the extra songs column. And then I like to also make a column saying to incorporate into lessons. So this is anything that I feel like we need to incorporate into the lessons that is not currently being incorporated. So for example, I've got here fun exercises or easier songs for a student who's kind of finding her current songs a bit harder. Another student, I've written here warm-up exercises, so she can do a nice warm-up before she gets into her book songs. So that's just really for me to keep track of what I need to give to students. And then certificate. So again, I review this monthly, and then I fill out for every student whether I think that they deserve a certificate for their hard work or for their practice, or if they're doing particularly well. Then I either say give her or him, like I capitalize it and highlight it, or I do like a question mark for evaluate in 4 weeks or a cross for evaluate in 6 weeks. I also have a column that's kind of similar to the one before about what I need to help the student with. So I've got things here like for my new teenager student, I've got here read a bit about what to teach older teens and get some pop songs as well, because I mainly teach young beginners, so it's quite different to teach teenagers. So that's something for me to learn and develop myself in. And then I also have a column over here for folder or notebooks. So we give out nice folders and notebooks for our students when they start. I love to give notebooks to write in the lesson notes for the students so that they have something at home, and then it also helps me as a teacher. They bring that notebook back and I see exactly what I've told them to practice, and it makes life so much easier for myself and I think the student as well. So I just keep track of whether I've given them that notebook and folder. It's really hard to keep track with 20 plus students, so that's in there as well. And then I also, closer to recital, I also have a column for recital, if they are playing in it or not, and if they did anything for the recital, and if the parent knows about the recital. So this is kind of like my Bible. It's called the Piano Student Log, and I've got a little legend here at the bottom, as you can see. So the legend is like currently working on in yellow, so that's if the student is like currently working on like level 1 scales, level 2 scales, etc. Give her or him, that's in green, so that I know that stands out, and then I make a list. After I go through all the log, I make a list of everything I need to give to students, and the green stands out and tells me, okay, I need to give chord progression resources to this student, I need to give scales to this student, I need to give a pop song to this student. It just stands out. And then, as I said, cross is reevaluate in 6 weeks, that's in the blue. Question mark is reevaluate in 4 weeks. And I also make a note, after I've given them a resource or a certificate, gave on this day and this date, so I know, so I don't print out things twice. So yes, this is, excuse me, I think this is quite a nice resource to keep track of your student, especially if you've got kind of a big studio of 20, 30 plus students, and you're kind of wondering how on heck am I going to keep track of all my students and where they are up to. So as I said, I will link a digital download of this document in the description below. Would love for you to download it, start using it, and let me know what you think, if it's been helping you out or not, and if you want any other resources too, please let me know. So thank you, and I hope that you found this video useful.